All right, welcome to the hangout, everyone. If you hear a little noise outside, don't mind it too much. I'm gonna be broadcasting outside on this wonderful May night, and yeah, we're gonna be doing another hangout on this controversial issue, which I don't think should be controversial, but nonetheless, people have made it controversial. It's abortion. You know, um, I'm really sick and tired of the excuses people come up with about this issue, man. I'm tired of people justifying this crap. And as I'm outside on this beautiful May night, we're hearing dogs barking in the back in traffic. But just bear with me. But anyway, um, yeah, I'm so sick and tired of people trying to justify this issue. I mean, it's the most freaking ridiculous thing that you could possibly justify. It's the most evil thing you can justify. Abortion is evil, plain and simple. You can't justify killing a human being. I don't care what you say. You cannot justify killing a human being under any circumstances for any reason. And you'll have people talking about, well, what if it's to save the woman's life and this and that. Any credible um, obstetrician in the medical field would tell you that a surgery or procedure to save a woman's life is not categorized as an abortion. I like to look at abortion from the root word abort, which means to stop something. There are ways in which pregnancy can technically be terminated, either through um, miscarriage, through killing abortion, which I find absolutely disgusting, intentional killing abortion, or through a spontaneous miscarriage. These are some ways that pregnancy can technically be terminated that you can use in the sense of abort, but the context of abortion I'm talking about here is the intentional, active taking of innocent human life. It's an innocent human being and it's killed. This is the context of abortion I'm talking about, which is wrong. And I don't care who you are, you can't justify it. Of course, if you think you can, you're more than welcome to enter this hangout and try to do so. You see, in the United States, this sick little thing called Roe v. Wade is what passed abortion into our laws. And for 43 plus years, we've had over 50 million babies killed. That is disgusting. It is disgusting when one innocent baby is killed. But 50 million, that's no. In no society should this be acceptable. None. I believe it is my mission from God to talk on this issue, to address this issue, and to do my part in bringing awareness to this issue. So I may do my little small part to eradicate thinking out of society that this is okay. It's not okay. No matter what you say, and you can't justify it, no matter what you say. Killing an innocent human baby is wrong. You can't justify it, no matter what you try. I hear so many absurd arguments to justify abortion. They're talking about you're impeding on a woman's bodily autonomy. What? No, no, you're not. You're not impeding on a woman's bodily autonomy at all. Because killing an innocent human baby are two different things. And pro-aborts like to try to mix them as the same thing when they're quite clearly not the same thing. Okay, um, killing an innocent human baby ain't got nothing to do with your bodily autonomy rights. Nothing. Whether directly or indirectly, the fact of the matter is, it was because of the function of the human body that the unborn child is in the place that it's in. Okay? The child didn't force themselves to be there by any means at all. And they can't help it if that's the natural place to where they have to live and develop in order to exist. We all had to exist in the same way. We all had to go through the same process. We all did it. This has been an evil that's been perpetuated and infiltrated this culture of ours, that people think they have the right to kill an innocent baby for whatever desires they want to meet. It's just sick. Why take the life of an innocent human child to deal with your personal situations? And people need to come up with all these faulty, bogus arguments to justify it. They try to assume that the child will live a, a horrible life, a rough life if born. They call it a parasite. They dehumanize it every which way from Sunday. They do whatever they can to argue their point. They do whatever they can to build nonsense and to justify what they're saying. It's no matter what argument they give, you cannot justify abortion. I don't care who you are. You can't justify killing an innocent human baby under any circumstances for any reason. You can't do it. Well, some people would come up to me and say, "Well, what if she was raped?" Well, what does rape have to do with pregnancy?
Hey, bro.
What's up, Neo?
Man, I gotta tell you, the slander never stops, bro. I'm not gonna bring any controversy into your rooms anymore. Anytime anybody comes into this room and starts talking crap about me, I'm just gonna leave. Because that's what happens. Man, every time I come into a room now, I've got either, I'm not gonna name names, but there's 3 people on here that really don't like me. And as soon as like Tommy Hall is one of my best friends for a long time on here. Me and Tommy Hall get along for, I think, 2 years now. We've known each other on here. I've talked to Tommy Hall personally a lot of times. And, man, all they want to do is split us apart as creationists. You know what I'm saying? They're telling Tommy that I'm not trustworthy and blah, blah, blah in this chat that Tommy has against somebody else. So all I did was bring up an article, and some, guy named Steve keeps coming after me and saying that Neo is not trustworthy. You need to tell him to stop commenting on your thing because I'm not going to be around or something like that if you let Neo talk.
Well, did you go to Brother Tommy in private about it?
Oh yeah, he knows. Tommy knows that. Even Tommy commented. He said Neo's not a bad guy. He's just because he has a different opinion doesn't mean he's a liar. Is exactly what Tommy Hall said to the guy, to Steve McCrae, and they got it out for me. See, what I can't understand is if I don't know anything, I'm not a scientist. If I'm just a regular guy on Google Plus expressing my opinion, why am I viewed as such a threat to them if they are scientists with credentials like Steve McCrae and Fiona Robertson and all of the evolutionists? Why am I viewed as a threat to them? Why are they trying to shut me down? I don't get it. It seems, and I'm not boasting or anything. I'm just saying I don't understand if I'm just expressing my opinion, then why am I viewed as such a threat? I never said anything. I never lied or said anything fallacious or tried to go against anybody's opinion. I'm giving my mere conjecture and opinion. That's it.
Did you just come from another hangout?
No. I was talking about where Tommy Hall was accused by a bunch of evolutionists today, and I was involved in the conversation. I never said anything. And supposedly my name got brought up, and they keep trying to want to shut me down. Like, okay, so Steve McRae must have said something to Tommy Hall. Tommy Hall responded because I had Steve McRae blocked. I'm not going to deal with somebody that likes to publicly slander me, because that's what he's doing. And he said that Neo is a liar, basically. And Tommy Hall responded, Neo isn't a liar, he's a good guy. Just because he has a different opinion doesn't mean he's a liar. Is exactly what he said. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to split creationists apart. See what I'm saying? I've known Tommy Hall for a couple of years now. He knows that they're not going to be able to, like, slander me to the point to where Tommy Hall's not going to want to talk to me anymore.
Yeah, you're talking about the thread that I was involved with Steve McRae, right, Neil?
Yeah, the guy likes to slander people. I don't understand it. I mean, I'm not lying. Just because I give my opinion doesn't mean I'm a liar. I don't understand where they're drawing this conclusion saying Neo's a liar. What they do is they like to slander people in front of, like, the big dogs, or like Tommy Hall, True Empiricism, and Nephilim Free are the big dogs, right? I'm just a regular layman's guy. I don't have any science degrees. I don't have anything. If Steve McRae, Fiona Robertson, all these other guys that have degrees in biology, why am I viewed as such a threat to them if I have no degree? I'm just a layman.
Well, I don't think Steve has a degree in biology.
That's what he says. He has a degree in something.
Well, I think from what I remember him telling me was that he, when he was in the military, he received some kind of accreditation or something that's involved in military circles for...
Oh, by the way, before I forget real quick, also, Dragnot is one of the other big dogs he thinks he is. He was in the military as a medic. He accused Tommy Hall on a video that Dragnot just made, if you haven't seen that, against Tommy Hall. Tommy Hall addressed it. And in the video, Dragnot is using his military experience and credentials against Tommy Hall. He said, you need to join the military like us big... I forgot exactly his words. He said, you need to man up and join the military because you're not a real man. See, that is not what the military promotes. The military is against statements like that. So just because you're in the military, you shouldn't put down civilians that aren't. That is the biggest mistake that anybody could make if they were in the military, like Dragnot. When Dragnot made this accusation against Tommy Hall, he said, see, I was in the military, you weren't, is basically what Dragnot said in the video. Watch the video, I'm not lying to you. And he said, you weren't in the military, you need to man up, or whatever he said. See, the statement that Dragnot made, and I'll look it up later, is not what the military wants to promote. I will guarantee that if the military heard about that live online on YouTube, they would probably demote him and dismiss him from the military forever, and just say you were never here, because you're not supposed to talk about civilians that way. You don't talk about civilians as if they're lesser than you because you were in the military. That's the wrong thing for Dragnot to do. And that's why I have been blocked.
Well, I don't think they would get kicked out of the military, but they'd probably definitely be demoted. That's for sure. But
yeah, well, he's already out of the military, so what they're going to do is disband him and take all his medals and everything. So you cannot talk about civilians that way. If you are in the military, the reason you're in the military is to protect civilians.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it's the American taxpayers' dollars that supports the military. I mean, so how can you sit
Who is
there?
Tracknut because he was an army medic to go and accuse Tommy Hall of not being a man because he wasn't in the military? See what I'm saying? Watch the video. I'll give you the link. Hold on.
Yeah, no, Steve, he kind of does the same thing in a different manner. It really it all surrounds a person's pride. I mean, and I can say that because I suffer from it for a while too. Not giving God, any credit. It was all my doings. You know, my intelligence, my understanding, but here I was in sin myself. You know, so they have their own issues, and you can kind of pick out the problems they're having in their life. And I think both of them have a pride issue, big time. I mean, it's
Are y'all
arrogance.
aware? Are y'all aware of what the hangout topic is?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Antonio. I just had to go off on a tangent because these people are trying to slander us. I'm sorry.
Well, it's all good, man. If you want, you can like send me whatever. You can like if there's anything you want to talk with me privately about, I'm all open, man. I'm all ears.
I know, I know. I'm just telling you because this is important. I think it's important. You know,
Okay.
I'm compelled to tell you about this is what they're doing now. They're trying to get to you because they want to split us people apart. That's what they're doing. You're saying abortion is evil. I know. Every time I enter, your stuff is about abortion. See, this has to do with DNA and all the things that they're talking about. We're talking about telomere fusion with true empiricism last night, with the whole chromosome 2 fusion, and that's they would prove abortion because they think we're animals. See, here's the biggest problem: if monkeys and apes and humans had the same common ancestor, then life is nothing more than just animals. We're animals. Once you start equating human beings with animals, is the problem. I think that's the main problem. If you look at the big picture, is that we're not animals.
Yeah, I don't agree that we should be categorized on the animal species. I think that's a problem in itself.
And a lot of these guys, like, I mentioned a lot of these people on here, evolutionists, like to mention that we are animals. They'll say that. They'll say we came from a common ancestor of monkeys and apes and human beings and whatever it was. And I'm like, here's the problem for that for me. Shouldn't this common ancestor have the same DNA as all these monkeys and apes and human beings? So it should be superior to us. Not necessarily, they would say. Like, yeah, well, you would have to prove that a common ancestor that had all the DNA inside of it to create monkeys, apes, and human beings is less superior than we are today.
Yeah,
See,
you
that's
know,
the problem for me. Do you understand the philosophy behind that?
But I definitely do see a lot of similar philosophies. Like, MM Artist, like he argues almost like dang near the same way with evolution and intelligent design as he does with the abortion issue. Like the way he puts things and the way he argues things, it's like two sides of the same coin, so to speak. Most of the time, what he be doing is bringing a bunch of sources that absolutely do not make us point in any way, or sources that are just totally irrelevant off the top. And I don't. You remember that discussion that we were in? You were there, and I asked him a simple question. and he would not address it. I warned him, look, man, I'm gonna ask you a simple question, and if you don't answer it, I'm gonna block you. And I asked him a direct, simple question. He didn't answer it, and I blocked him.
Well, isn't it kind of funny that back in what was it, 1972, when they legalized abortion, that you started hearing about test tube babies in the labs and stuff like that. And it wasn't long after that. It was like, I was thinking it was in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, but it was before I was out of high school. And it's just kind of amazing that you start hearing about these scientific, experiments in the lab right after abortion was legalized. I
Well, that's
mean,
the thing, man. Once you compromise the sacred boundary of human life, anything is permissible. I mean, you have the inevitable slippery slope consequences that you got to deal with from that. And we're getting all this crap like abort babies being used for medical research, nonsense like stem cell research, just human beings just being expendable for fallible men's own purposes.
yeah, that's why I think there was a correlation there. I was going to bring that up in your last hangout, and I didn't really think about it till the end, and then you kind of ended the hangout. But you know, I think there's a lot of it's not, to me, it's not conspiracy. I mean, not when you got test tube babies in the lab, and then they're doing other experiments, and then they're basically killing the babies, right there in the test tube. And it happens right after abortion is legalized. I don't think there's a coincidence that I think they wanted abortion legalized so they could do their experiments out in the open. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't surprise me one bit if that was their goal, not one bit.
Well, my argument against abortion, I've told it to you 100 times. It's called biometrics. You ever looked into biometrics? Just look up the word biometrics for me, please, and explain it to everybody, because I could go off for days about biometrics. As if, come on, if biometrics would not exist without DNA separating every single human being on the planet. Fingerprints, eyeballs, voice patterns, blood types, everything. I mean, I could go down the list of things that separate people. This is how the FBI finds out who you are. Dental examples. I mean, come on. Every single person on the planet is different in some way or another. This is what biometrics is based on. Your DNA is different than every single other person on the planet. So killing off that DNA, do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Um, I can't believe the excuses people come up with to justify that. Like, they got to use a number of different nonsensical tools at their disposal. Like, the baby's a parasite. The baby may have a hard life. The mother may not have any money. She may not be able to pursue her goals. It's just a clump of cells. Just all these absurd arguments just to make them feel more comfortable in their conscience to killing this innocent child. These people are absolutely disgusting.
Oh, I agree. It kind of brings up a good question for Christians is, do you feel that the aborted babies are in heaven with God right now?
Me personally, I believe they are. I know people have all sorts of theology about this, but I do believe personally they are. I mean, I can't I can't conceive of a world or scenario in which aborted babies will be in hell. I just can't conceive of that, especially given Christ's words on how he felt about little children.
Yeah, he said some harsh stuff about, doing any kind of harm to, the little ones. I mean, what was that? I can't remember the exact passage, but it was something like that. It's better to have a millstone tied around your neck
Yeah,
and
it was
thrown
like
into the
some heavy
sea.
weight of some sort. It better to have that be tied around your neck and drug you to the bottom of the sea than it would be for you to face God in judgment.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh language coming from the Lord. I mean, to me it is. And also, it says also that God is the defender of the weak. I mean, you can't get no weaker than a baby in a mother's womb.
I've been challenging all sorts of pro aborts to debate me on this issue. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding. Within like the last month or so, I must have challenged over 200 pro aborts to debate me on this issue, and not one of them have accepted. Not one. They want to sit up there and troll people all day and talk smack all day, but when it comes to seriously having to give a serious defense to their position, they back off.
Well, part of that might be because, deep inside in their heart, they know it's wrong. I mean, you got to know it's wrong.
They know it's wrong, and that's why they need all sorts of excuses to cover up. They need to dehumanize the unborn. They need to compare it to a parasite, to um, compare it to all sorts of just absurd analogies. Whatever it takes to placate their conscience, whatever it takes, they're going to do it by any means necessary.
Yeah,
And they'll try to slander the other side, try to literally attack the other side. The only thing they have are insults and attacks. That's all they have.
well, I think, too, like Neo said, evolution plays a role in this too, because if you can get people to buy in evolution and say, oh, we're just offsprings of a couple monkeys, and their genes have fused together and created human beings. I mean, if you can get that thought in their head, then, I mean, what's next? Well, the baby in my womb is nothing more than an animal, so, I can do away with it.
If evolution was true, we should see it happening today, and they can't. There's nothing. Microevolution is untrue. Adaptation, speciation, and variation have nothing to do with microevolution. Sorry. They just label and umbrella blanket the term microevolution over these three terms that I just explained. So when they say that a zygote is an undeveloped fetus or embryo or whatever, it's like, come on, man. Really? So, it's the same thing as cancer cells. Yeah.
Man, I'm surprised I'm getting less people to come up in here than I did on my very first hangout on this issue.
Probably because I'm in here.
Probably because what?
I'm in here.
Why
No,
would that have anything to do with it?
Oh, they don't like me.
Hmm.
Let's find out. Let's do a social experiment.
All right.
So Neo's gonna remove himself just to see if other people pop in. It, it would be kind of funny if a couple people popped in right now just to talk about abortion.
So you think he's gonna come in here, or just wait to see if others come in here that he had on his blacklist?
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure he's just trying to see if there's people holding out because, they don't like Neo. I like Neo. I think he's a good guy, and he speaks from his heart.
Yeah, he ain't never done nothing to me.
You know, I've always enjoyed our conversation. Yeah, occasionally he might be a little wrong about something, but I mean, most of the time he's dead on the money, so I mean, hey, why begrudge the man of his opinion?
Oh, I agree with you 100%, brother. Yeah, definitely. So, pro boards, if you listening out there, come in the room and let's talk abortion. Let's see if you can justify it. I'm waiting for one of y'all to come up in here, man. We don't got all night.
Well, what would be interesting is if we could get to the root to have these pro-abortionists come in and see if they'll, confess to either being a Christian or if they are, you know, they believe in evolution. Yeah. I just have this feeling that most pro-abortionists are evolutionists and not Christians. I mean, that's just my opinion. We don't have any
Yeah,
facts to bear that out.
I think that's very likely true. So far nobody's really come in since Neil left. Nobody came in at all. I don't think it was anybody he blocked. Otherwise, they would have came in.
Yeah. But it was a nice social experiment by Neil.
Yeah. Come out, pro boards, wherever you are. Come out, come out, come out. I feel like it's like they only showed up in my first hangout because it was my first one. It's like I do more of them, then hardly anybody shows up. Like maybe one to three people show up at the most at any given time.
Well, it is kind of funny that maybe people think abortion is just a boring topic. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
That's definitely possible, but I mean, me personally, I don't think there's anything boring about killing children. Because that's what it is. It's killing children. Let's just call it what it is. People like to freaking dance around the subject, try to avoid offending people, try to avoid having the wrong temperament. I don't give a crap about none of that. Screw that. You killing a child, period. I don't give a crap about your feelings. Screw your feelings.
yeah, I love kids too. I mean, man, I can still remember when my adult children now were you know 1 years old, 2 years old, 4 years old. I mean, they were a lot of fun to play with. I mean, teaching them things and getting them to laugh and stuff like that. And I just don't understand why anybody wouldn't want that in their life. I mean, children bring a lot of joy to your life.
I hear you 100%, man. I got several younger siblings that bring a lot of joy to my life, man. And almost all of them bigger than me. I mean, this life is way too short. And it's funny that so many people will say life is short, but then you're gonna turn around and end somebody else's before it leaves the womb. What kind of crap is that? Yeah, life is short don't mean you gotta intentionally kill somebody else's before they live.
No, I agree. I mean, like I said, I always enjoyed, with my kids going out and even when they got a little bit older and they could run around, playing football with them or playing kickball with them or doing something with them. I mean, it's maybe I'm just a big kid at heart too. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel the same way, man. As much as I don't want to end this hangout this early, it doesn't seem like anybody's going to come in here. I'm probably just going to have to get more notoriety and get more subscribers before it really starts to get serious. Yeah, as much as I didn't want to end this hangout early, I'm going to just. They leave me with no other alternative. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast. Thanks for coming, man.
All right, Antonio.
All right, have a good night, man.
All right, you